What's your favorite scary movie? Hey, man.
We'll tear your soul apart.
Well, I'm Pennywise the Dancing now.
Oh, Lord on the beast!
God, don't do that.
But sometimes death is better.
Hey everybody, what's up? KillJoy Jake here, and instead of having friends, I have horror movies. Today we are talking about Saw X. I am so excited to talk about this today with you guys, but if you're new here, you can like this video and subscribe. If you did that, that would be pretty dang sweet, because then I can keep doing updates on horror movies, and then you can keep getting updated on a whole bunch of other crap. Not just the Saw movies, but like a whole bunch of other films, like Scream, Terrifier, Halloween Ends, all those things, all on this page. That's pretty sick, right? Moving into this though, I thought we had an update today. I actually thought we had some big news, but we don't. And I actually want to really clarify something about Backstage.com. I don't know how reliable Backstage.com is. Typically when I make a video, it's always based off of news that comes from like sites that I know are reliable. For example, Bloody Disgusting, Dread Central, Screen Rants. Those are the big three that I typically go to and I'll report on, but someone sent me a picture of on Backstage.com that they're casting for a film called Saw After the Final Chapter. Now, I'm telling you guys, this is totally fake. Like, if this is real, I'd be shocked. I would be absolutely shocked if this was a real fucking thing. Maybe they're just using some of the shit to like be fake or whatever, but like, for example, the roles underneath what they're casting for, one of them is the character of Chris Rock. Oh, lead male, 40 to 60 years old. Funny, but a no-sass talking cop. Pressed for time. He doesn't want to die. That is the description. That's horrible. That is a horrible way to describe Chris Rock's character in the last movie. And apparently this character is named Chris Rock in Saw 10. That's not happening. There's not going to be a character named Chris Rock in the next film. Maybe they're casting for like new characters in the next one and like this is a joke, but I'm telling you, I think this is totally fake. Another one is they're casting for a character named Samuel L. Jackson, who should be a lead male, 40 to 60 years old, strong and a Bible-abiding man, a good cop troubled by his past bad deeds. Jackson does what he can to save himself and the franchise. Once again, I don't think that in the next movie they're going to write in a character named Samuel L. Jackson. I also don't think that Chris Rock or Sam Jackson will have anything to do with the next Saw movie. If I had to guess, that was kind of like Chris Rock's project, the last film. So moving forward with the franchise, though, we know John Kramer is coming back one way or another. That was confirmed by writer Josh Stolberg. And I wanted to talk about specifically what could they do in the John Kramer universe to make this all make sense. John Kramer died in the third Saw movie, and like all the other sequels pretty much, except for the new one, focus on like stuff he set up before he died, which it gets real convoluted in some of those films, even though they're good. Like, I think there's still a lot of fun. Even like Saw 6 is like what a lot of people, that's a lot of people's favorites, is to what I've heard across the internet, which is really interesting to me. I think that one definitely has some of the most gruesome kills, but like the plot of that one is all over the place. Same with the final chapter. But although some of those sequels get very convoluted, I would like to see the John Kramer story done differently. And what I mean by that is a big trend in horror right now is retconning sequels and just making a continuation to the original film. So it's basically a legacy sequel. Now, we've seen that already done, obviously, maybe the most famously by Halloween, the 2018 version of Halloween. We also saw it done with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre series. We've seen that happen twice with that series, with Texas Chainsaw 3D and this new one that comes out in a couple of weeks. And most recently, Candyman from last year did the same thing. So could we see that in the Saw universe? Now, here's the thing. I know some people are kind of sick of that trend. Some people are like, okay, we're retconning sequels. We've done that with every horror franchise at this point. But here's my argument for the Saw franchise. If any horror franchise needs to retcon some sequels, it's the Saw franchise more than literally any other franchise. Oh my God, does this series get convoluted? The one thing I will hand to the Saw franchise that I think is really cool is that it is one consistent story for the most part. Even Spiral, like, they acknowledge all of those other things happening. It just doesn't directly affect the plot of Spiral, which I think is cool. It's a story from the Book of Saw, which is why that title works really well, even though it's kind of clunky. I think what's really really cool about the 10th Saw film, though, is they're bringing John Kramer back. But I think the best way to do that is by retconning all the sequels. If you have a direct continuation to just the original film, you could bring John Kramer back. He's still alive. What's the next thing you do with John Kramer that's not the story we already saw unfold in 2 and 3, where he dies because of brain cancer? You could do a whole lot. Theoretically, if you still wanted to have that element of it, because that's a very important part of his character, is that he's dying and that he was like, for example, the whole reason he started killing people in the first place was because he thought that people didn't appreciate life all that much. And then when he got into like a really bad car accident, he had to escape in what it was essentially the first Saw trap. That was explained in one of the sequels. Honestly, some of the Saw movies, like 4 through the final chapter, all blend together for me. Like, I have to rewatch them because, like, they're all very, very similar to me. The first 3, like, it's a consistent story, and it's like, okay, this is cool. But after that, it gets really convoluted. That's a very important element to his character, that he's dying and that he wants to do this before he dies. So, like, you'd have to leave that element in, but you could keep him alive longer than just the 3rd movie if you decided to restart the franchise in a new timeline. Yeah, sure, it would get kind of fucked up, like how the Halloween franchise is right now, but I think that's the best way to go, because we all want Tobin Bell back as John Kramer. Who doesn't want to see another performance from him? Hell yeah, I'm all about that. I really did like Spiral from the Book of Saw. I did criticize it a little bit when it came out. It has some problems. There are parts of it that feel like more of a fan film than an actual movie. But the more I learn about it, the more I really have come to like the new Spiral film. I don't know. That's a whole nother video though. That we could talk about all day about why I actually really like that film. And even though it has some shortcomings, it makes for a really fun movie. And all the traps are disgusting. Like, some of my favorite traps from the entire Saw franchise are in that last film. For me personally, at least. I don't know. I love what Spiral did with the franchise, especially just being a deviation from the typical formula. It's also it's a separate story. It's a story that takes place in this universe, but it's not directly related to John Kramer. That's interesting to me. I was really curious to see where they were going to go with that angle. And for the most part, it was cool. I think the killer reveal is incredibly boring and like, really? Like, they made that the most obvious person the killer? Whatever. But that element was really interesting to me. I feel like they kind of flubbed it up at the end though. But with Saw X, I want to see them do the John Kramer story differently. If they're taking this route, that nonetheless, it's been confirmed, it's the return of John Kramer. So what are they going to do? They have to retcon the sequels, man. What else could they possibly do that John Kramer had set up before he died? 4, 5, 6, the final chapter, Jigsaw. That is 5 different crazy traps that basically, I mean, I guess Jigsaw is the whole twist of that movie is that it happened before the events of the first Saw. So technically Jigsaw is like the first movie chronologically, but still, like, that's a lot to set up post-mortem. Like, I don't know how any human being could do that besides John Kramer, if I'm being real. So the only option here that wouldn't have fans just absolutely complaining and being like, what the hell is going on with this franchise, is to retcon the sequels and to do something new. That's my argument for the new Saw film. I really hope that's what they do, and my God, I hope they don't name it what this Backstage.com website has for it. The title, I think I already said this, but I'm going to repeat it. They called it Saw After the Final Chapter. What is that title? No. Oh my God, that's horrible. After the final chapter? So that wasn't the final chapter then, is what you're telling me. is Saw 7 was not actually the final chapter. There is yet more. This is the epilogue. Saw the Epilogue is what they should have just called this fucking movie. No, that's not the title. I like Saw X a lot because it's very reminiscent of the Friday the 13th franchise. Like, we had the 9th film, which was the final Friday, Jason Goes to Hell, a very clunky title, and the 9th film in the Saw franchise is Spiral from the Book of Saw. So it kind of works really well, and it's almost like kind of a meta joke in itself. I don't think that was intended whatsoever, but it's interesting to talk about. So Saw X, Jason X, I mean, it works. We're taking Jigsaw to space is the only thing I can take from all of this. Oh God, no, Jigsaw is not going to space. Dear Lord, what do you guys think is happening in Saw X? Is Jigsaw going to space? No. Zero gravity traps, man, that's a great idea. Anyways, so what do you guys think is going to happen in Saw 10? Do you think they're going to retcon some of the sequels? Do you think we're bringing back John Kramer, or is it going to be another story of something he set up post-mortem? I'm really for the retconning the sequels, me personally. But what do you guys think? Leave me something about it in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching this little Saw 10 update. I know there wasn't really any real news here, but this is an argument I've been wanting to make in a video for a long time. And today was the first day that I was like, hey, I got some time. Let's talk about Saw X. Also, if you could support me on Patreon for just $1 a month, that goes a long way. It helps me make my movie. I'm currently in pre-production for making a really big Scream fan film that I'm super excited for. Also, I make a bunch of crazy locations videos for all your favorite horror movies. I go to all the locations, so make sure to check all that out. The link for that will be in the description below. Thank you all again for watching, and as always, don't forget to kill it out there, y'all.